Hi guys, before we start the episode, we have something very important to share.
So a lot of research that we do for this channel is very important and dear to us. We want our facts to be as diverse, as on point as possible, and none of that would be possible without Wikipedia.
And Wikipedia is actually in a crucial state where they need money to run their operations, and they have a link up on all of their pages where you can just donate some money. And even as something as simple as 150 rupees will make a huge difference. And if you think, like if you've ever used Wikipedia and never donated, if you feel that they've at least given you 150 rupees of knowledge, please at least go donate that. Every rupee counts. You'll be doing not only us, but I think a large portion of the world a favor. Thank you so much. All right, welcome to TKB Shorts, episode number 9. This is part 5 of the big tech series that we are doing. Adi, say hi.
Hi guys. So this should be the end and the conclusion of the big tech series. I hope you guys have enjoyed this trip with us. So today we're going to talk about Amazon, probably the most famous of the big tech right now,
Big boy
and the most controversial.
company.
So we kept this at the end, so it is going to be a firework finale.
So basically,
Let's
Amazon. One of the most interesting thing about Amazon before we start, right, is I want to talk about public perception. Either people know about Amazon or they don't. It's not like Facebook or Google, right, where they're like, something's going on, I don't understand. Everybody's just like, either Amazon is a plague that's slowly going to kill all of us, or Amazon's like, oh, such a nice, convenient thing. I don't know what this is. That just goes to show how well they have managed to market themselves and position themselves in the market, as well as at the same time do what they're doing, and that itself is quite scary, quite powerful, quite genius, all at the same time. So what does Amazon do? So let's just delve into that. Adi, so as usual, have you used Amazon? When did you use Amazon last time?
Oh, actually, in my life, okay. To be very honest, I have never used Amazon, but I know for a fact, I've never used Amazon. But the thing is, obviously, I have used some service of Amazon, right? That's what people don't understand. I've used Amazon Prime. I used Netflix, which is technically an Amazon, which is on Amazon servers. Yeah, it's all dependent on Amazon. So you can't really escape Amazon right now.
Yeah.
So I have used some product of Amazon, but I've never bought anything off Amazon. Exactly.
Yes. We'll delve into the whole how the internet depends on Amazon in a little bit. But I think the number one thing that can easily demonstrate Amazon as a monopoly is the fact that no one else shops anywhere else online. Right? If you're shopping online, you pretty much, it's not that you can't. Even if there are other options, you just intrinsically go to Amazon. They have almost become like Google, where you can say, I am Googling this, or just go to Amazon and buy this. They've managed to become culturally relevant as an online retailer. And that itself should be alarming to a lot of people, because pretty much all of online retail happens in Amazon, right? And like in the US alone, I think in 2019, 47.9% of all retail e-commerce, that share belonged to Amazon. And you can even say, okay, first of all, it's half of the market, so it's a lot. But you probably think there's some other second place is at 30% or something. No, second place is at eBay, 6.1%. Which is one funny number, okay? So they're not even close. So so even from a consumer perspective, they're a monopoly, in my opinion. But in my first of all, do you think that's a bad thing?
That's a very complicated question. Okay, I'll tell you this. From a consumer point of view, I would say no. It's actually better, right? Think about it. If I want something for cheap, and I don't have a lot of spending power, it's better for me if a monopoly has that much power, because they can subsidize the cost of anything. They can bring down the cost. It would be easier for me to buy anything. I know everything I can buy on Amazon. It used to be a bookstore, online bookstore. Now it sells anything and everything. Probably in the future, it will probably sell cars and houses, and who knows, they might acquire,
They can like display jobs, whatever, you know.
yeah, display jobs, anything. So honestly, I don't know if it's a bad idea. Like the best example I can give you guys is BN, BNB, BN, BNN. Yeah, BNN, right? It's the company in Pixar. Pixar shows what Amazon could be in a lot of their movies. BNL, sorry, by and large. So by and large was Pixar trying to show the world what monopolies could do. If you guys haven't seen Wall-E, please go watch Wall-E. The company that changes the world into a devastated shell of a planet is one monopoly called BNL. And you can see it again in Toy Story. You can see it again in most Pixar movies. You'll see BNL, even in cars. So Amazon could eventually take over so much of the world that it would be an unquestionable entity. It would be a world power. It would be more powerful than many countries could be.
Like, I always say this, that if there's a third world war, it'll probably be a company that wins. Like there'll be a company that wins, and there'll be a region named after that company, or Amazon land or something like that. And
It honestly is very possible, and many companies have won such wars in the past. Like I think Lockheed is a company that technically won wars, and so many companies have won wars. What people don't realize is, in a time like war, no country can win. Only companies can win, because they're the only people who profit off wars. Like
yeah,
even take like right now, right? Like
even the pandemic,
uh
right? Who's actually
yeah,
benefiting from the pandemic?
some $600 billion have gone to billionaires during the pandemic. They become roughly about $600 billion richer. And a lot of this money has gone to Jeff Bezos, because if you want to buy something, where do you buy? You buy it off Amazon.
Exactly. Yeah.
Something like this, I don't know why, but India already had an idea when they were like early on that something like this could be possible. That's why you have a rule in India where 50% of the market cannot be controlled by one company. You need maximum is 49. So let's say this happened to Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola was going to buy Gold Spot. They were going to buy Thumbs Up and everything, and Limca and everything. I think Parley owned all these companies, and they were going to buy it. And the government had to intervene, telling that they can't buy all this. If they buy all this, they would be having 50%, because a lot of people don't know. Thumbs Up is actually the second most sold soft drink in India.
In the world, actually, third most in the world or something. It's there in.
Third most in the world, but second most in India. So the government intervened and stopped that. But in America, that law does not exist. A monopoly is legally acceptable.
No, it's not. It's not legally. I think it's not legally acceptable. It's just that all of it can. There's not a cap on market share.
Yeah,
it's just that
exactly. There's no cap.
No company should theoretically be able to get all of the market share. It's just like that. So they'll intervene and then sort of make it tougher, or they'll sort of do what they need to do so that thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, but there's no like cap on the market share, or they only can do something once it's too late. Like right now, honestly, it is too late. Yeah. I don't know how much you can break up Amazon and make it better for them. I mean, make it better for the consumer.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and again, the fear is they can cut out all the competition and jack up the prices. That's when a monopoly is questionable. But during these competitive monopoly years, I think as much as it's hard to deny, the consumer does benefit a little bit. It's not something we should ignore. And to completely remove that, how it will shake up the economy is a different question. But that aside, let's move on to the real questionable behavior Amazon is actually exhibiting. Like, in my opinion, this is the actual scary bit. This is when they've become a monopoly, right? So let me just paint a picture so you understand this better. I am a manufacturer that makes notebooks. There's Purvesh Notebook Company, right? And I go to Amazon to sell these notebooks. I say, you can buy these notebooks in grocery stores, stationery shops, and Amazon. and my personal website, purveshnotebooks.com. The thing is, Amazon, so much of online shopping happens at Amazon that it pretty much is the same thing as my sales data as a whole. Like there's a law called the law of big numbers. At some point, it will just average to the same middle value. So if there's a big enough sample size that happens, it's very similar to what actually the market replicates. And so much of online shopping happens in Amazon that Amazon essentially has the same business analytics as I do. When a notebook will sell, at what price will a notebook sell, which demography buys. Amazon probably has more because Amazon knows which address it's shipping to, which communities are buying my notebooks, and what are the other things these communities buy. Do they buy expensive pens along with my notebooks, or do they buy ballpoint, buy 10, get 20 free packets, right? So they have a lot of data to work with. So Amazon just at some point will come up with a better notebook or the exact same notebook as mine, will undercut me, or they don't even need to undercut me. They'll just be the first result. And because Amazon is such a powerful online shopping phenomenon, people will click on that and it can technically eat a large portion out of my sales. And all of that money will go to Amazon.
Amazon has done this. They've done this to tens of thousands of companies. Like tens of thousands of companies have gone out of business because of Amazon doing exactly what you just said. And Amazon had to reply saying that they've never done this. But like honestly, if they didn't do this, this is just an unbelievable coincidence.
Like the congressional hearing that happened, right? I think there was a question that sort of poised that does Amazon look at its third-party sellers' business data? I think Jeff Bezos, if he fumbled like hell, first of all, whatever that means, okay? Like whatever, maybe that's just an actual fumbling. He's not scared to tell the truth, but okay. But he ends. He said something and then he corrected himself, and he sort of said, first of all, it's a big thing. Amazon has a policy that it won't look at this, okay? And he initially said, it's not regulated though. Like none of the superiors will check if any rogue engineers look at all this and sort of make sure their products sell better. So first he said that. And then I think the congresswoman was like, oh, so it's not enforced. And you're like, oh no, let me correct myself. What I meant to say that no online shopping company is regulated to do this. The fact that we're doing it itself is a big deal. Like he sort of answered it, be thankful, bro. In that kind of line. And I'm like, day. Big boy Jeff. Tapda.
Yeah, they don't understand, right? Like,
no, they understand, Adi. That's the thing, okay?
Okay, they do understand.
Basically. Right? So, yeah, like, I mean, the man's powerful. Like, he just liquidated $7 billion of Amazon stock, like, I think yesterday. So, yeah, the man definitely is, benefiting off whatever they're doing. But yeah, that's why it's scary. The fact that they can just do that. And I personally think that's not the most scariest thing as well, because to be fair, I think less than 20% of all retail is online today, right? So I still don't think they are influencing the world by a large way. But where it is scary is, like Adi said, right? They have something called Amazon Web Services, or AWS for short. So this, what this is, right? I think a lot of people don't know. So let me just give you a small, quick crash course on what AWS is, right? So AWS is basically, it provides technology infrastructure for companies, right? So back in the day, if I wanted to start a company like Netflix, I need to buy servers that run server applications, right? So it needs to run a video player. It needs to have storage for all those movies I have. It needs to be secure. It needs to handle, it's a lot of things, and I have to do it, and I have to do it from scratch, right? What AWS does is that it has made all of this. It's made all of this. It's made it powerful, and it's done it, and it's given it out. So I just need to pay for the services I'm using. So I don't need to hire a bunch of engineers to engineer a database program, which is like expensive, by the way. A security expert to make sure my users' data is safe, because Amazon's data production is good. So Amazon just does that. So it's out of the box. A lot of out of the box features are there. So a lot of startups A lot of smaller companies definitely will prefer this, and even larger companies like the FBI, Tinder, some portions of Instagrams, some portions of Facebook, and some portions of basically all of Netflix is on AWS. You guys might remember a couple of years ago, AWS I think went out for half an hour, and most of the internet stopped working. Like,
oh yeah.
Tinder stopped working. You couldn't log into Instagram. You couldn't log into Facebook. Netflix just wasn't there anymore. So they literally run the internet. It's not an understatement at all, and they're growing, by the way. Sure, now there are other competitors, but to be honest, the businesses haven't been really good at this. They came to the game very late, so Amazon has like a bunch of market share. But here's why it's scary, right? Because again, right now it seems like a dream, right? They're providing all the services to these smaller companies. Anybody can start a good technology company. Technology products are out there for everybody. But look at this: they can still monitor business data on some level. And imagine being able to monitor the business data of essentially all the successful business internet companies out there. It's not like retail where there's another option like brick and mortars. You have to access the internet through the internet. And if most of the companies run through AWS and Amazon has business analytics, right? They can just launch competing products. They can look at Netflix's data, make Prime better. Maybe they're doing that right now. I don't know, but maybe they are.
See, that's the thing, right? There's this book, I forgot who the writer is, called The Art of War. And it's one of the most important books to run a country. And that's why China is doing so well, because China is still run on ancient philosophy. Like, they still run on Confucius philosophies and the art of war and everything like that. One of the most important parts of the art of war is this phrase which says, if you know the enemy, like you know your back of your hand, you already won. And another is, if you know the battlefield better than the enemy, you already won the war. That is how important information is. And Amazon is using that better than any other company. Like, they've monetized information. They know more about Netflix than Netflix can know.
Because they know Netflix and Netflix competitors' data.
Exactly. They know Netflix. They know Hulu. They know Amazon Prime also. So they know everybody's data. So they know when people are going to be on these platforms. They know why these people are on these platforms. They know what kind of data they search for on these platforms. Who are the kind of people who are on these platforms? For example, Netflix can never know. They can never know your spending power outside Netflix. Like, Purvesh Muthuraman's spending power on Netflix is known to Netflix. But what that IP address does on another website is not known to Netflix. But Amazon can know.
Yeah, again, we're saying can because right now legally they're not even supposed to know, so they don't even say this. But I'll be very honest, it's very easy to know all these things. You don't like Adi said, they'll use my IP address to find out. They don't need IP addresses. Even if this data is anonymized, right? And it's anonymized because it needs to pass through Amazon. And Amazon markets itself as a security feature, right? Oh, all our user data is anonymized. Only the company knows what's happening. Trust me, there are ways where you can get insight out of even anonymized data. There are definitely ways.
You can still find demographics, right?
Exactly. That's enough.
Yeah. Like, for a person who is in the media industry, trust me, guys, demographics and psychographics can win anything. That is the reason directors like Atlee still have a career. They're not making great movies, but they make movies they know they target specific demographics and psychographics for the entertainment. That's the same thing Amazon does. Amazon is actually not competing with Netflix at all. Netflix is on a different line. Amazon is on a different line. The kind of movies that you find on Amazon and Netflix are completely different. Netflix is trying to be the first to win an upcoming movie. Amazon, on the other hand, is trying to get what you would nostalgically watch on the internet. Like, if you want to watch like Annamalai, Arunachalam, you can't find on Netflix. You have to go to Amazon. Their business model is very different. They go for quantity over quality. Netflix cannot go for quantity.
Correct. That's actually multiple things, right? Netflix business model, like one project is actually very expensive, right? Because of the freedom they give the directors and stuff. But apart from that, like Prime can eat out the market share of Sun Next and Netflix because they
Yeah.
cater to the medium demographic there. And more importantly, right? Like Amazon has so much spending power. Like they're ready to pay for movies like Master, Surai Potru. It's probably like I'm sure they're even ready to give them a better deal than what they'll actually get if they theatrically release it.
No,
But
they
it's
did. They offered I think 300 crores for Master,
oh my god,
which
like
is
just out of
not
the
even
box.
just not even close to what Master can get in the box office.
Like
Right
not
now,
box. No,
movies
I
are
mean not the box office. Like the producer can get because there'll be a distributor. Like it can make 300 crores in the box office. I think so.
yeah.
But distributor fees will just
No,
go up.
honestly, I don't know if Master is going to get 300 crores out of the box office, but still, it's a gamble, right? The only reason OTT has not won over theater is because of the producers and distributors have like the civic duty of not doing it. That's the only, like even Master's producer has said he will not give it to Amazon only because he wants fans to come and see it in theater, which not everybody has to do. Not
Yeah.
every producer distributor has to do this.
Like same thing with Martin Scorsese, right? I'm sure the next generation Martin Scorsese won't feel this way because probably the next generation Martin Scorsese probably watched movies on an 32-inch TV all his life, or
Hmm.
her life, or their life, and they shoot movies on their iPhone. They'll edit it on iMovies. They'll win an Oscar, but they probably release it on Netflix.
Yeah. People thought Netflix is a huge competition to theaters. No. Amazon was always the silent competitor, which can ruin anything.
Yeah, and Amazon again, right? The reason we kept Amazon to the end is because it's a clear demonstration of how a monopoly operates. Their whole business, it's not a public statement, but it's very clear that a lot of their business model just entrenched on dominance, become big and destroy, right?
Yeah.
And they're really good at that.
Like, they don't really care about making a profit today. They're a futuristic company. They will make profits when they're the only company that can make a profit.
Exactly.
Today, I don't know if you guys know, but Amazon doesn't actually make a profit very often. They actually turn losses. This is for a lot of reasons. First, they don't have to pay taxes. They don't have to. They can't be asked if they are a. This is
Monopoly if
legal.
they're making money.
They technically it's not a monopoly because they don't make money out of it. But imagine a future where Amazon owns 90% of all online online trade. Imagine all trade happens on the internet. Like people just don't like to go to retail stores and buy things. Let's say Amazon owns about 60% of just everything bought and 90% of everything bought online. At that point, if Amazon starts making a profit, that could change the world. It is very scary reality, but that could completely change the world. They could easily become richer than many countries. Like
I'm
they
sure they
could be richer
already
than
are.
most countries. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. They
probably
can be richer than most countries. Exactly.
they can be richer than most countries. They could buy countries. That's the power. That
Lol.
they could be China. That is a topic for a whole different time. But China actually, if you check of all China's land ownership together, they own a country outside China. They own Sri Lanka's harbor. They own many parts of Africa. They own many. They own dozens, like, hundreds of square kilometers in many
They
developing
own a
countries.
nice pipeline from Israel to China that's crossing the Indian border.
Yeah. They also own a pipeline from Pakistan and Afghanistan,
Pakistan,
just
sorry, not Israel. My bad.
in case they need it someday. Amazon could do that tenfold. That is the power Amazon has.
In fact, when they made that occasional profit, right, the stock market went down.
What?
Their stock value went down when they made a profit. Like a couple of days, like when they made the profit, stock went up, but after a while, the market went down to them because it had a
It's,
negative reception with the public that they're making a profit.
oh yeah, because they're famously in the stock world, they're famously a non-profit company.
Well, not profit in that sense, but yeah,
Yeah,
essentially, you're not wrong.
yes.
Yeah, cute. So yeah, uh, yeah. So I think with the dominance of Amazon, I think we'd like to end this episode. Adi, so I think we've come to the end of this mini series, right? What are your thoughts on big tech companies?
See, I'll tell you guys this. Once upon a time, uh, basic necessities of human being were very, very, very small. For example, water, clean drinking water was not a basic necessity. Then became a clean drinking water became necessity when uh, people had to have clean drinking water, right? Once upon a time, we used to add alcohol to the water just to clean it. So only the rich could drink water. The rest had to drink alcohol to just stay hydrated,
Survive, yeah.
just to survive. Then once we made motors and things, uh, flowing water in your house became a necessity. It's one of the basic human necessities. Then electricity became a human necessity. Even today, uh, all of India does not have electricity. Tamil Nadu, I think, is one of the only states, major states, which has 100% electricity. 100% of Tamil Nadu is on the grid. But in the future, even not in the future, today, one of the unspoken necessities of humanity is the internet. It is just like how the electricity connects everybody, like it's on a grid. Internet is an entity that connects every single human being to one another. And imagine without the internet, what could you do? You can't do anything today. We are caught in a pandemic, and our courts, our judicial system is on the internet. People are still being trialed on the internet. In the past, if you needed something like this to happen, people had to congregate, and internet has made our lives so much safer. It's completely changed our lives. If you want to start a company, you don't need to rely on hundreds of people. You don't need to rely on a bank to advertise anything. Everything is free because of internet. Now you have companies like this which are taking away that basic necessity out of humanity. They're making it into a monetized thing. Water and electricity, I believe, are not things that should be monetized because they're basic human necessities like air. It should not give a person edge depending on the amount of the resource that they have. Like the amount of electricity you have should not give you an edge over somebody else. Like in the past, we've learned like I can only study until this time because I don't have electricity in my house. There's no lights. That should not be a thing. Internet cannot be that thing in the future. That's why we need to we need to. Honestly, I'm not well equipped to talk about how we do it. That's not my field. But yeah, that's my thought.
Yeah, you're completely right, Adi. And I think the first step is first democratizing the internet. That itself, I think right now it's not the reason it's an unspoken right is because it's not matured. Things like 5G and all are still happening. I think once, it's become like water and electricity where human race has uh, has mastered it. I'm pretty sure, I hope at least it becomes like a government thing and BSNL comes back and everybody's using BSNL. It's a government monopoly like the Indian Railways. I really hope that happens. But these people are the gatekeepers to internet. Your phone is how you access the internet. Facebook, Instagram is how you connect to people on the internet. Amazon is how you connect the physical world with the internet. You buy physical goods through it. You run physical companies through AWS. And Google is how you access the internet, as we spoke, right? They were the gatekeepers. So at some point, yes, these members can exist, but they shouldn't exist at this scale. Even the harsh capitalist in me believes that.
This is beyond capitalism.
Exactly. This is where it becomes slightly authoritarian and very scary. Yeah. On that hopeful but grim note, we'd like to end this episode and this series. As always, thank you so much for watching. Nandri.
Vanakkam.